Every Sunday, without fail, a woman walked into Nadia's restaurant. She always sat at the same table, table 9. She always ordered the same thing: pepper soup, no meat, extra stock. She always paid in cash. She always left a tip that was bigger than the meal itself. And she always cried. Not loudly, not the kind of crying that makes people turn around. The kind of crying that a person learns when they have had to grieve in secret for a very long time. Silent tears. One hand flat on the table, eyes forward, like she was staring at something no one else could see. Nadia noticed her the very first Sunday. By the third Sunday, she was already setting table 9 before the woman arrived. By the sixth Sunday, she was bringing the soup without being asked. She did not know this woman's name. She did not know her story. She did not know that this stranger, this woman she had been quietly, faithfully serving every single Sunday for months, was about to hand her the thing she had been waiting 8 years for. Now, before we go any further, you need to understand who Nadia is, because this story only makes sense when you understand the kind of woman she became and what it cost her to become it. Nadia built her restaurant from nothing. And I know, when people say that, they usually mean from very little. From a small loan, from a borrowed space, from a difficult start. When Nadia says she built it from nothing, she means from a mattress on her aunt's floor. She means from a cooler strapped to her back, hawking food in the sun before she had a shop. She means from splitting one plate of rice between herself and her younger brother Kosi every single night, making sure he always got the bigger half. Their mother, Mrs. Obiageli, had died 8 years before this story begins. A hit and run. A market road. Early morning when she was going to open her stall. The driver was never found. The case was closed. Nadia kept the file. She always kept the file. Some people move on after something like that. Nadia just moved forward. And those are two very different things. Moving on means you leave it behind. Moving forward means you carry it with you and keep going anyway. Nadia kept going. She built the restaurant. She hired staff. She fed people. She became, in her neighborhood, the woman whose table you came to when life had become too heavy to carry alone. She never asked questions. She just made room. So back to table 9. Nadia's business partner, a sharp and funny woman named Zola, was the first to say what they were both thinking. One afternoon, watching the woman through the kitchen pass, Zola said, "Bad marriage?" Nadia did not look up from what she was doing. "I don't ask," she said. Zola shook her head. "You never ask. That's why everyone ends up at your table." On the 14th Sunday, the woman looked up as Nadia set down the soup, and she said, "You never ask me why I cry." Nadia straightened up. "It's not my place," she said simply. "Everyone else asks," the woman said. Then, Nadia said, "You've had enough of that." Something shifted in the woman's face. Like a door that had been locked for a very long time, opening just a crack. She looked down at the bowl in front of her, and she began to speak. "My husband killed someone 8 years ago. A woman on a market road. He was drunk. He drove away. He came home that night and told me he had hit a stray dog." The soup ladle in Nadia's hand went very still. "I only found out 3 months ago. I was looking for a document in his study, and I found a police report one he had paid to have buried. I found everything, every detail. I cannot go to the police. He has people there. I cannot tell my children. It would destroy them. I have nowhere to put this. So every Sunday, I come here. I eat, I cry, and I go back. Nadia stood at that table for what felt like a very long time. She had imagined this moment for 8 years. The moment someone, somewhere, knew something. In every version she had ever imagined it, she was trembling, hands shaking, voice breaking. But standing there, right now, she was completely still, perfectly, dangerously still. She pulled out the chair across from the woman, and she sat down. "Tell me his name," Nadia said quietly. The woman's name was Gloria. Her husband's name was Chief Emeka Duru, a property developer, a churchgoer, a man whose photograph had appeared in 3 business magazines that year alone. Nadia had seen his face before, not in those magazines, in the file she had kept for 8 years, the one with soft pages because she had read it so many times. A roadside trader had seen everything on that market road that morning. He had been told very firmly to forget it. But he told Nadia's uncle anyway, and her uncle had written down a name, in faded ink, in a notebook Nadia could recite from memory. Emeka Duru. She had never been able to prove it. She had never had a witness willing to speak. And now, his wife was sitting at table 9, eating pepper soup, handing Nadia everything. Now let me ask you something. What would you have done? 8 years of waiting. 8 years of a file with soft pages. 8 years of watching your brother grow up without a mother. And the answer, the witness, the person who could finally bring justice, is sitting right across from you. What would you do? Here is what Nadia did not do. She did not explode. She did not accuse Gloria. She did not pick up her phone and call anyone that night. She went to a lawyer, a real one. A woman who specialized in exactly the kinds of cases that powerful men paid to disappear. Nadia brought the file. She brought her uncle's notebook. She brought 8 years of patience and laid it all on the table. And then she waited 3 more Sundays, 3 more bowls of pepper soup, 3 more tips bigger than the meal, 3 more sessions of quiet, faithful service for the wife of the man who killed her mother. On the 3rd Sunday, Nadia sat down across from Gloria, and she asked her one question. If someone could make sure he faced what he did, legally, properly, so your children would know the truth from a court and not from a rumor, would you be willing to be a witness? Gloria looked at her for a long time. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "Who are you to me?" Nadia looked at her steadily. The woman on the market road. Her name was Obiageli. She was my mother. The sound Gloria made was not a word. It was the sound of a woman realizing, in a single shattering second, that for 6 months, every single Sunday, she had been sitting across from the daughter of the woman her husband killed. That the soup brought without asking, the chair pulled out, the space to cry without being questioned, all of it, every act of quiet kindness, had come from the one person in the entire world who had every reason, every right to turn her away. Gloria covered her mouth with both hands. The tears came then. Not the silent kind she had perfected over 6 months. The other kind. The kind that means something is finally breaking that was long overdue to break. Nadia did not reach for her hand. She did not say it was okay. She just sat there, steady, present, waiting, the way she always did. Chief Emeka Duru was arrested on a Wednesday morning. It made the news. His lawyers were expensive, and they fought hard, the way lawyers of men like him always do. But Gloria took the stand. She sat straight, voice steady, hands folded in her lap, like a woman who has finally decided what to do with 8 years of Sunday tears. She told the court everything. He was convicted. On the first Sunday after the verdict, Gloria walked back into the restaurant. She sat at table 9. Nadia brought the pepper soup without being asked. Neither of them cried. Gloria looked across the table. "I don't understand," she said quietly. "How you served me all those Sundays. How you were kind to me. Knowing, even for those last 3 weeks, knowing what you knew. How did you do it?" Nadia thought about it honestly. "I didn't know at first," she said. "And by the time I did, you were already grieving. Every Sunday, you were already paying for it. I couldn't punish someone who was already broken." Gloria nodded slowly. And then she said the thing that would stay with Nadia for the rest of her life. "Your mother raised a better person than my husband ever was. I hope she knows that, wherever she is." Some justice arrives loudly, with sirens and headlines and crowds outside the courthouse. And some justice walks in quietly on a Sunday afternoon, orders pepper soup with no meat, extra stock, and sits at table 9 for 6 months, until the right words are finally said by the right person at exactly the right time. Mrs. Obiageli went to her market stall every morning before dawn so that her children would eat. She never imagined that her daughter would one day feed the whole world, including the woman who carried her killer's name. But maybe that was always who Nadia was going to be. Some people are just built that way. The world breaks them, and they respond by setting the table anyway. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you are new here, this channel is home to stories like this one. Stories about real human pain, real human grace, and the moments where the two collide in ways no one ever sees coming. Subscribe and come back for the next one. I will be waiting for you.